get in search of something.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Mhm.
So
Just I brought in dialogue. Yeah, Pavla, go ahead.
I got connected. Other than that, during lockdown time, me and one of my colleagues, we came up with an idea of connecting with people and each other. Similarity of which started to work for things which we can tell in time. For example, we can like yoga sessions, which we call as manna, and we invited few people from different different like we had Ayurveda sessions and the thing about this again is there is no to and fro one all people everyone agree to work for us without any money and we don't take money from them. We conduct yoga classes as well. So as I already mentioned in the intro, I read Bhagwad Geeta very much into and I read many Gita and I never successful because of curiosity I searched it to find some sentences and I definitely turned out to be really fun and a great life. After that, I thought you might felt requested you can just let us know what you would so we can address your questions. And of course, let's learn more about all this. Thanks for joining me.
That's so. Yeah. Yep. Yesterday, give me a second. Hey, hi Sonali. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hi, all.
Hey, Sonali. Hello, Sonali.
So yesterday, we just started and we all were introducing ourselves. So Bhavna and Swati, they joined us today. So they all were telling us about their motivation. Bhavna is also associated, like she had some experience with, sessions from Chinmay Mission. So Ritu also, right? Has been in association with Chinmay Mission. So, yep. Amazing, amazing. Thanks a lot, Bhavna. We'll definitely get to learn a lot from you. Let me introduce myself as well quickly. Uh, so I've been in this because of my family. So my Dadaji was very devout, and he had got a bunch of like religious texts which he used to read. So as a kid, I grew up with those texts, and I was very curious about them. Started with them as like stories, and then eventually I got to learn a lot of things, which helped me in life and which helped me broaden my perspective as I grew up. So because of that, I developed a kind of affinity towards them. Then I got into science, and many of the time when I was able to read some of the concepts of advanced physics, I was able to attribute it to some of the things which were discussed in Shastra. Say, for example, my say for example, special theory of relativity has a paradox called grandfather paradox, which is basically like if you change the course of an event, you cannot do it because you are basically a cause of the event. So this paradox is very well addressed in physics using a theory called multiverse theory. Multiverse theory is exactly talked in Bhagwad Gita, not Bhagwad Gita, but in Srimad Bhagavad, in a different way. There it is said that we live in different yugas, and currently we are living in 83rd yuga. And in each and every yuga, the cycle of Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Sat Yuga it repeats itself. Also, it talks about different forms of Vishnu, like one Vishnu ji, from him, other Vishnu ji is emanting, and each and every Vishnu ji is, is looking after the dynamics of different universes. So, exact same multiverse theory, which is explained, which explains the paradox of special theory of relativity, is captured in a cryptic way in our Shastra. So these kind of associations pretty much enticed me, and I was like, okay, fine, there is some merit here. Let's delve deeper into it. Being a Gyan, like being very curious about things, I was interested in corroborating many of the understanding I had with these literature. Then I got into, then I started reading about philosophies of Vedanta and philosophy of Kashmir Shaivism, which also gave me more, more understanding of how life is, how world is. No intention to become a sannyasi. Neither I want any of us to be there, but definitely, be more adept at, at taking life and navigating through our work area, our personal life, or giving more value and adding more fragrance and color to this world as we live in it is what I intend to. And Bhagwad Gita promises that. So I was never able to pick Bhagwad Gita like you, Bhavna, right? As you mentioned, I have few slokas which are my favorite, but I never did a thorough study. When I say thorough study, I mean reasoning why exactly this statement. So I want to do it with folks who are like minded. And that's why I asked you all if you will be interested. Thanks a lot for joining and, helping all of us.
So, Ankit, a quick question. You mentioned Bhagavad Gita and then you said not Bhagavad Gita, you said Srimad Bhagavad. So, is there a
Correct.
difference in between the two?
Yes. So Srimad Bhagavad is a Puran. It's a Mahapuran. So we have 18 Mahapuran and 18 Purans. And of the Puran, right, Srimad Bhagavad is a Mahapuran. So these 18 Puranas, right, they are basically stories. Okay, so it goes like this. At the top, right, is Vedas. So Vedas are very difficult to interpret. I give you again another example of Vedas. So if you will read Vedas, in Riga Veda, there is a theory which is so difficult, even modern science or maths cannot interpret it. That theory says, we all have heard a term called Maya Jal. सुना होगा ना हम सबने इंद्र का माया जाल इंद्रजाल कई बार magicians दिखाते भी हैं केपी सरकार इंद्रजाल something like that, right? So that इंद्रजाल is a concept in Riga Veda. So there it is said that Lord Indra creates a web like a spider in which every node of the web has a replica of exactly same webs or nodes present at other corners of the web. This concept is very similar to a very advanced concept of mathematics called fractal maths. Fractals are basically Fibonacci series. We can, discuss in detail about it. But same thing, like what is talked in Riga Veda in form of a, very cryptic verse talking about Indra and his power of creating Indrajal or Mayajal, essentially is talked in Buddhism. At the same time, is talked in modern science. Modern science call it fractals. Buddhism call it, there is a Avatamsaka sutra in Buddhism, which again calls like there are multiple Buddhas. Each Buddha has got tiny, tiny Buddhas, and there is one Buddha within us. And this philosophy of the world being you know an illusion is again talked in different form in different places. These are very intricate concepts and very difficult to interpret that sentence, that statement in Riga Veda at its face value. So what we did, or what sages did, uh, they created Upanishads in order to make sense of what is there in Vedas. From Upanishads came Puranas. So as a human, right, there are different kind of people having different intellectual level in our society. There are people who understand things because they are I will use the right word, their intellect is enhanced enough to capture an idea. There are few people who cannot comprehend an idea, so they want some kind of characters to imbibe those philosophies. So very few people in our society can understand an idea at its face value. Say, for example, 2% people can understand that there is a philosophy, say, waking up in the morning is good. Very few people will imbibe to this philosophy. But there are major chunk of people, like 18% people, who can connect with characters who follow those principles or rules. Like Lord Rama or Lord Krishna used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. That's Brahma Muhurta. So people can connect with Krishna. And they're like, hey, you know what? Krishna ji used to wake up at 3:30. It's good. Let's wake up at 3:30 without even knowing like what is the science and what are the good things of waking up at 3:30 in the morning. Few people do it, not for the facts value or the science or the goodness behind it, but for the love or devotion for Krishna. And the other people, like the remaining 80%, they don't even connect with stories. For them, people need to devise another way. What was the easier way? Like fear. If you won't wake up at 3:30 in the morning, Lakshmi ji will go away from your house. Okay. So this is how our sages understood, like for a message to pass in society, either you need to connect with people who can actually understand an idea at its face value, which is very few fragment of the society. So for them, they had these texts, like the heavy ones, like these Upanishads, or there is another text which is Brahma Sutra. It's extremely complicated text, extremely complicated, very difficult to grasp. Uh, then very easy text like Bhagwad Geeta. It's not very easy. It's also very intricate and complex. But again, an amazing text in a lucid manner explaining the same concepts. And finally, we had stories in form of puranas, which can be connected, like which 20% people can connect to. And those who cannot even connect to it, like extreme layman's of our society, a religion should be for everyone. For them, we have like these, these curses, right? So if you will brush your teeth and then walk, Lakshmi ji will go away. If there is, tap leaking in your house, Rahu Dasha will come in. All these are like, things to make people realize deeper signs or deeper energies without them even knowing about it. Like subtly, things get corrected and they abide to it without making them understand something which is beyond their capabilities. So Puranas are second. There are 18 Puranas and they talk about stories. So all the teachings of Vedas explained in the form of some discussion between a sage or a king or some characters from the stories. Then we have these Mahakavyas, which is like Mahabharata and Ramayana, and there are other Mahakavyas like Ashtavakra Gita, the discussion between Janak and Lord Ashtavakra. Many such kavyas are there. Then
Ashtavakra was between Janak and Ashtavakra, not Janak.
agreed. No, Janak and Ashtavakra Gita.
Okay,
Correct.
I heard it Chanakya.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I
Sorry.
also heard Chanakya.
No.
It's Raja Janak and
Agreed.
Ashtavakra. Actually,
Agreed.
Gita also, we misunderstand sometimes Gita to Bhagwad Gita. So Gita is basically a common noun, as very well explained other things by Ankit. I just need to highlight upon the Gita. Gita is a common noun which basically means it's a song, it's a kind of dialogue between a teacher and a disciple, a student. So there are many Gitas. It's just that Bhagavad Gita is the one which is very famous. The any discussion between a teacher and a student is considered to be a Gita when it is preaching the things, when it is telling you the way of life. For example, there is Ram Gita, one Gita Ankit only speak about is the Ashtavakra Gita. There is Shiva Gita and many others. So I just wanted to point out the Gita for this part.
Hey, thanks,
Carry on,
Bhavna.
please, Ankit.
So is this Gita word coming from Geet music or
Yep.
I mean, that's a question. That's and that's not a statement.
Well, actually, I think so. It comes from Geet or music.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, because the interpretation that I know is Song of the Divine, Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a song. The Gita is a song sung between uh, Guru and the Shishya.
Okay.
Yep, that's like, yeah, very beautiful things I've heard about Bhagavad Gita. Some of the shlokas that I really practice is one in which Arjun asks Sri Krishna how to have control over your senses because they are the main cause of distraction. He sees that not senses but man. Man is also considered as one of the sense organ. Um, he sees that the man is very chanchal and it's very difficult to have control over man. बहुत कोशिश करता हूँ फिर भी कुछ नहीं हो पाता इसलिए चंचलम ही मन कृष्ण प्रमाति बलभद्रढ़ तस्याम निगमो मन्ये वायुरीव सदुष्करम मतलब it's in order to control man. It's like controlling the wind which is flowing. It's that difficult. So Lord Krishna, right, being a very intelligent speaker, he uses the right word to address Arjun. So in every shloka, right, the way Arjun is addressed by Krishna tells a lot of things about how to be very intelligent and talking to people. So, depending on the type of question that he asks and depending on where he wants to move Arjun, right, he uses those adjectives for Arjun. He says, Samam Samyam Mahabaho. He uses Mahabahu. Mahabahu means one who has, he's not calling him Parth in the shloka. He's calling him Mahabahu. Mahabahu means one who has who has won a lot of wars, like very powerful arm, right? Mahabahu. Samam Samyam Mahabahu, Manah Durnigraham Chalam, Abhyasena tu Konteya, Vairagyena cha Griyatam. Here he calls him Konteya, he Konteya. If you want to control your man, right, you need to keep practicing how to control it. And you need to also practice vairagya. Again, vairagya is very big word. I don't see vairagya means giving up everything, but being aware of what to pick and what not to pick. So, not being, not being attached to something and being capable of having a discretion what to choose and what not to choose is vairagya. When you are under someone's grip or an emotions or an urge's grip, you are not in vairagya. But when you have that discretion, right, what to pick, what not to pick, and the way you develop this discretion is through nirantar abhyas or practice. And he says that, dude, you have fought and you have won so many wars. You have wielded so many powerful astras, which, these gods they were having, and you prayed to them, and through your tapa, you got those things. It won't be difficult for you. You're asking this question like how to have control over Manu because it's like wind. So this is one very good sloka that I like about Bhagavad Gita. And again, the famous ones, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya, how he defined dharma, right? Those are like some amazing ones. Bhavna, do you want to add? What are your favorites? Swati, Sonali, if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
want to.
Actually, the one you just explained, it's from the Dhyan Yoga
Agreed.
Adhyay 6 of Gita. And that Adhyay is really, really very powerful, and one should must study it. And the shloka that you talked about, where it's just beautiful. Understanding each and every line of it will make you feel like where we are right now and what we are doing. For example, as you said that it's not attachment, it's not detachment. It's actually to picking the right things. It's um, when you do the things basically without any expectation, without any to get it back, to get the effort is vairagya.
Also, yeah, and Bhavna, maybe I can comprehend what you and Ankit are explaining to
Yeah.
basically exercise control, to be able to exercise control on your man, and to choose, where you want to put yourself in and versus not. Where you want versus where you do not want.
Kind of having the remote, your remote in your
In
hand.
your own
Agreed.
hands.
Because as already said, it is very chanchal. इसकी स्थिति ही chanchal है. It's one has to be very alert all the time. It could feel like I'm already having the control on my man, on my mind, but it doesn't happen. The very moment you can, I mean, this very moment you think that I am having the control, and in another moment you will feel, oh, it's
And Sri Krishna
chanchal is so
describes,
much.
and yeah, adding to the point, Bhavna, Shri Krishna also goes, and you can corroborate. Shri Krishna also goes in details of what all things, what all vices can make you lose this discretion. He talks about krodh, kama, moha. All these vices are beautifully taught, like gradually. And again, like
Mhm.
what all forms of krodha, who gets, like, krodha comes to whom, like, and action should be associated with an object. Like, what is the description of the object? What qualities will set you free from those attributes?
Not only this anger, etc., Ankit, all our senses also will distract us like anything. In Dhyan Yoga, Shri Krishna very well explained that my senses, like uh, uh, my sense of smell, can distract me. If I am into meditation, I am into Dhyan, and suddenly I have a feeling, I have a smell of my favorite food, I'll get distracted. My man will leave me and go there.
Mhm.
Wanted
Correct.
to enjoy that delicious thing. So having the control is practicing. This is the only key.
Agreed.
So can I ask, since Ankit, you and Bhavna are so aware of this, because I'm hearing this for the first time. So have you been able to practice this in real life, and have you been successful, if not completely, at least?
Swati, first of all, I want to correct one thing over here. When you sit in dhyan or when you do meditation, one should not long for any success or failure. The
Hmm.
very purpose is refuted if you sit in dhyan and you are looking for success or failure kind of thing. The very main thing is to make yourself relax. And then, as I said, in meditation, there are various stages. It's not like the Paramatma in the first sitting. It will take many years of constant practice that will move you to that. The very first stage would be like you sit and then you are able to relax yourself. It's like that's good enough. But then talking about myself, sometimes for a split second, yes, it happens. Sometimes it's like I'm so very distracted when I sit down for meditation. Very distracted. Because it's not just like outer disturbances, Swati. It's the inner disturbances as well. My past, my future, my constant anxieties that goes on in myself, which distracts me from meditation.
Yeah.
Very beautifully put, Bhavna. Swati, let me again give you a frame. So, dhyan, right, in yoga is a later stage. It starts with yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana. Then comes dhyan, and then comes samadhi. So, if you don't do
Hmm.
the first
You
points,
can't get there.
you can't get there. Let me again be more clear. What is yam? What is niyam? What is asan? What is pranayam? What is pratyahar? What is dharana? So yam basically are basic rules. They are there to keep you healthy, to keep you healthy physically at the same time, emotionally. So yam basically has rules like asteya. Uh, Asteya means not to hurt anybody. So if you will hurt somebody, right, and you will sit for dhyan, all the time your subconscious will keep on thinking,
Hmm.
that, hey, you know what, that guy may come and may hit me. It has
I
other, yeah,
never
it
thought
has.
about it like that.
So these like rules lead you to dhyan, and then comes samadhi. So uh, it's beautiful concept. I don't remember most of the names right now. It's like ahimsa. Ahimsa means not killing anybody.
Yeah.
Asteya means not hurting. Not saying lie is again one rule. Then aparityajya is also there. Aparityajya is like not accumulating a lot of wealth or amassing
Parityag.
parityaga.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
These are yam. Once you go through yam comes niyam. Niyam is like getting up in the morning at a fixed time, uh, ensuring that your environment around is clean, ensuring that you take bath, right? These things come under niyam. This is for your physical health. You be physically unfit, sit for dhyan, you will keep on scratching your body. You won't be able to meditate, right? This is niyam. Then
Right.
comes asanas. Asanas are for your body flexibility. If you will sit for dhyan and you sit long, like try doing it for 30 minutes, after 10 minutes, your leg will start getting numb. You will feel distracted. Your lungs will automatically not be able to, have the same residual air when you are inhaling and exhaling because you're not accustomed to it. So asanas helps you develop that body capability to sit for longer duration. Then comes yam, niyamas, and pranayam. Pranayam is about your breath because one easy way to do dhyan is through control over breath. And breath is a very powerful way. A lot of philosophies talks about mastering breath through swaras, through dhyan. Many techniques are around breath in meditation. So pranayam or having breath regulated properly is very essential if you want to sit for dhyan. So you do the first, then you sit for dhyan, no problem at all. You skip these steps, it's like entering the gym without doing, those free hand exercises and directly lifting the weights and pulling machines. So that will cause injury. And you will blame, hey, you know what? I'm not able to run the machine properly. So don't
Yeah.
skip this. You can sit for dhyan.
Got that. Thank you, Ankit, for explaining it so well.
In fact, Swati, you can start with just 5 minutes of meditation also. It's very, very interesting. Like people will say, how you can sit for just 5 minutes? You should at least go for 1 hour,
Yeah,
30
yeah.
minutes. But
I'll
five
take it
minutes
as a
is very
homework
powerful.
before we meet next week.
And
Swati,
yes, Ashtanga Yoga, very well explained.
thanks. Swati, don't stress on it. What you can basically do is whenever you go out, right, just for fraction of seconds, be aware of the world around you and try to focus on one particular part of your body. It can be, the like the tip, like between your eyebrows, agya chakra. It can be your talu, like your upper tongue. Your tongue sits on your upper, talu, uh, all the time. Just be aware, and you know what? Develop this awareness many times throughout your day. There are 112 ways of dhyan. It's again talked very beautifully by Lord Shiva, part of a philosophy called Kashmir Shaivism. It's called Vijnana Bhairav Tantra. If you cannot meditate or focus on your breath, many people can't. They are prone to cold, they are prone to some lung disease, they have some alveoli ruptured. They cannot do dhyan through breath properly. Our philosophy allows them to do dhyana as well. You can focus on the tip of a candle. And as the candle's tip sways with wind, just have your attention focused there on the tip of the candle. And that is also dhyan. You can do this then. It's like one of the ways to meditate in Vijnana Bhairav Tantra. So
Sure.
there are many beautiful ways. I can share these resources.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So I yeah, go on. Bhavna.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on what Ankit said. Like, dhyan is basically getting absorbed in the self. When you are yourself, you are in dhyan. You can be in dhyan whole time, 24 hours of the day. You can be in dhyan. Like when most of you will agree to me. Like whenever you do something very focused, very concentrated, you just damn whatever is happening around you, right? That is
Okay. Nice to
because
put.
one thing. Uh, One thing that what I ask my kids to do is whenever they have food, just focus on switch off everything. Don't no talking, nothing. Just focus on food. Try to have each and every taste that food is giving you, and thank you whatever you are having. That is the food meditation, and it actually makes whatever you are eating very healthy to your body. So what I wanted to summarize is just being yourself is dhyan.
This is called mindfulness also, no?
There are many terms that are giving nowadays. Basically started from very culture of Gita is so long back spoken by Sri Krishna, and it's Gita spoken by Sri Krishna. It's been millions of years like sun actually gave that. Surya Dev gave that. So it's been long.
Yes, very amazing, Bhavna.
Yeah.
So Gita was first explained by Sri Hari to Surya and later to Arjuna in Kurukshetra.
Sri Hari is a Vishnu, right?
Yeah.
Sri Hari is okay.
There are grades of Sri Hari. So different Vishnus are in Puranas. So we will get into those details. There are philosophical reason behind each and every form of Vishnu. Why this Vishnu? Why other Vishnu? So a lot of detail gets it. One thing, Bhavna and Swati and all the people in the group. So do you guys treat Dhyan as a way of rejuvenation, like to calm your mind, or do you treat Dhyan as something bigger? Just want to know your outlook on meditation, Dhyan.
So I just take the question because I'm at that point. So, okay, first of all, calm your mind because, like I said, all that has been going around, and specifically, I have never. I'm a very, devout person. I believe in God, but then, in the path of spirituality, I have never taken this path of, utmost focus or things like that. But to answer your question, I think the first step towards uh, this goal is first to calm myself and uh, to be able to understand what you're aiming for, and I think this is the first step, and then possibly will be the next is the bigger thing. So first baby step, you know
Amazing, Swati.
yeah,
Got it.
very operational first step of this calming, getting control of yourself.
Perfect. Bhavna, you, others, Hina, Sonali.
Yes, for me, currently, of course, it's a rejuvenation only. But there is this huge potential. If I am able to, let's say, meditate well for 30 minutes, then I know that there is this magical thing which can, I don't know what will happen. But yeah, I do have fear also sometimes, as in, if suppose get into that state, my mind goes into that state, then will I be able to come back? So there is this
Good point.
question mark also. I mean, I don't know what will happen to my mind.
Good
It
point.
goes out of my control. So that there is
This is
going
the
in.
obstacle to dhyan, Hina. This is
Yeah,
one of the obstacles to dhyan that many people faces.
yeah, yeah. What is the solution? To not fear? Let it be.
Yes.
Okay.
As I said, it's very much like just be yourself. You will be in dhyan at every moment. I'm stressed so much thing is happening. But stress is nothing. It's just recalling the things again and again by yourself don't last for a millisecond. It's we who are bringing it back again and again and again. We love, sometimes it happens like if you have a breakup, you enjoy sad songs.
Mm.
This is the saddest behavior that we accomplish around ourselves. Be happy. We need to just run away from the thoughts that we have. And slowly and steadily, it will disappear by itself. If we start giving tolerance to them, it will just disappear. Believe me on that.
So it's like
Try
YouTube
that one.
recommendation engine. Whatever we see, it keeps on
Yes,
recommending.
yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Such an AI is working in the background.
Good one.
Nice.
Yeah, my
But
favorite field. Mhm.
so what I was saying is, I fear that I get lost somewhere. As in, I'm meditating and my mind goes into some other world and I'm not able to come out. And I'm not able to come to
Yeah,
this
you are
Fear
world.
able
will
to
never
achieve it.
let
You
you
are a
go
very
in that.
excellent. You are a very excellent meditator.
This
Trust me.
very
If you are
fear
able
will
to achieve
never
it,
let you go.
uh,
Okay. It
one
will never get to that situation.
one
Let's say that.
one tip there. One tip there. If you are actually able to achieve this, it's a very big feat. Do wear a
Yes,
metal
yes.
object in your finger. So just for like, mark my words. If you're actually meditating to that extent, right? Wear something metal
Sure.
object around your body, please. So that will
Okay.
be a good tip. Just take it as a tip. We will get into details of
Hmm.
it later. But if you're actually able to achieve
Sure.
it, it's a really major feat. Like, trust me,
Hmm.
it's a very advanced stage that you have reached. I don't know. Like,
No, 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 no.
amazing.
I'm
Fear
just a
right now.
beginner.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
fear right now.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
fear.
Okay.
I'm
Got it.
saying that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Don't worry then. Like, yeah, there will be
Hmm.
many stages
Yeah,
to reach there.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't worry. There are many stages to cross to reach that state.
But if you think that you are reaching that state, definitely wear some metal and then meditate. Preferably, copper, not copper. Brass will help. We will talk about it later. Cool.
Sure.
Even I want to talk about how I see Dhyan, if you guys want to know.
Yeah, yeah, please, please, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so rejuvenation for me, right? And Dhyan, and the first objective, which is to have a peaceful existence, is like the very outer layer of the goodness of Dhyan. The inner layer is to expound the capabilities and to see the Brahman inside. So that's the objective of many philosophies. Like Kashmir Shaivism says, everyone is Shiva. Advaita Vedanta says, we all have Brahman inside us. You know, the process of realizing that Brahman within us is through the paths which, Bhagwanji said in Bhagwad Geeta, and Dhyana Yoga is another, approach towards realizing the Brahman within us. So that Brahman has infinite potential. Say, for example, that Brahman can actually do things or make things happen around you. How it will make things happen around you? Very basic way is using your energies in a better way. If you have your energy levels proper and organized, you can make things. You can talk to people way more better than when you are lanky or your energy levels are not good. So you know your physical body, through your physical body, there are five layers of our existence called koshas. Bhavna will corroborate me again. These koshas, right? The very outer kosha is your annamaya kosha, which is your body, and the energy is around your body. So that energy obviously gets affected by dhyan, but there are many other layers of existence that also get affected by dhyan, and those things, right, they gives you extreme capabilities. Be it in corporate, we will be better at talking to people, we will be better at organizing ourselves. So the overall objective is how can a jiva realize Shiva? And this entire process is the way of dhyan or meditation. obviously the outer essence is what we get, like we feel more peaceful, our mind chatters less, and we are, in better control of our physical body. But again, as we will go deeper, right, we will realize that there are many other capabilities of our subconscious mind which we can use. Like, I'm using a very bad term, subconscious mind. It's a very elaborate, uh, machinery inside that is capable of many things that we unlock as we approach and as we become better at dhyan. So for me, the state of dhyan is the path towards realizing Brahman within us in the terms of Advaita Vedanta, in the terms of Shaivism. It's a way to realize Shiva within us. But very basic, let's not complicate it. We sit down, we meditate, we feel good. Yeah. Yep. So, with this, let me talk about my understanding of Bhagavad Gita. So, as I say it right, it's the process to realize the Brahman within us. Bhagavad Gita is classified as a moksha shastra. So, unlike other shastras, right, there are certain shastra that are artha shastra. Some are dharma shastra, some are kama shastra. So, artha shastra will actually tell you how to amass wealth, how to, similarly, the Kama Shastra will tell you how to enjoy worldly pleasures. There are many, many books out there. But Bhagavad Gita is not any of the three, like the other three. It is not a Shastra that will tell you how to become more rich. Obviously, if you become better as a person, while you are living the life, you will become good at amassing wealth. But that's not what the Shastra is for. It's a Moksha Shastra, in which Bhagwanji himself, like Sri Krishna, told how to approach moksha. The moksha is basically how to realize yourself, how to realize your true core, how to be more adept at using what we have got here. Like not just our bodies and not just through the, unlocking the basic capabilities of having more control over energy levels, much adept at speaking by choosing the right words. These are like very basic outer, but there are many other capabilities inside this body which is to be realized because we will learn in Gita as well as we'll go ahead that we are no different from the divine. And that's the Advaita Vedanta's philosophy. So, how to know this, how to be aware that we are no different from the divine in a sequential way is what is, explained by Bhagwanji. And that's why it holds relevance even today. Even today to this date, it's not about a fight between, some old kings in some time way in the past. It's semi-mythological story. There are many people who question this, like was Gita added later or was it a part of Mahabharata epic? All these were questions which scholars, they thought about, they debated. But the fact that Gita still holds relevance today, uh, it talks on topics which were way beyond the state of any particular era or any particular society structure. It it transcends the state of the society at a given period of time, and hence it still holds relevance. It's a moksha shastra which allows us to transcend towards the path of moksha while being very good at living here and being worldly. So I really like Bhagavad Gita for that reason. I hope I I get to learn more and reflect more on these with you, Bhavna and Ritu. You guys coming from the background and perspective, you can help me enhance my understanding and help all of us in the group.
Yeah,
Yep.
we all are here to learn from each other.
Yep. So this Moksha Shastra, uh, one way that I approach any Shastra philosophy, again, I tell you my perspective, is not to take anything at the face value. Like Indrajal is not Indrajal. It's basically a complete, construct with which this entire cosmos function. And it's just given a name Indrajal, similarly, not take things at face value. How? How? Let me give you an example. I give a better example because I am a Shrat and I can talk about this in a much more confident manner because of my experience here. So many of us learn or know about Devi, Durga Saptashati. There is a very popular book in which it talks about how goddess Durga kills several demons. These demons are given names, and the story is very beautifully described in one Puran as well, called Markandeya Puran, in which Ma Bhagwati kills demons like Mahisasura, Chanda, Munda, Rakta Bij, Madhu Kaitaba, Dhumra Lochana, and all these are described in around 13 adhyaya. What when you will read this, right, you will learn like, okay, fine, there are gods who coming, praising the goddess having discussion with these demons, and demons are later slayed by Bhagwati's a specific form. What we fail to realize is the bhava behind each of these story. Let me again make it clear by shedding light on these names of these demons. Bhagavati is what emerges within us at the end of reading Durga Shapsati. When she emerges within us, she allows us to quench these demons that we have within us. What are these demons? These demons are Madhu Kaitaba. Madhu means addiction. So sweet is addictive. Kaitaba is aversion. Just like addiction is a vice of our body, similarly, aversion towards something is also a vice. Many people are averse to a particular, state or to a particular scenario. Like some people consider, not interacting with a specific group of people as, as a bias within them. That is also bad. As much as addiction is bad, aversion is equally bad. So Madhu is addiction, Kaitava is aversion. Then comes Dhumra Lochana. Dhumra Lochana is distorted vision. Many of us live in, our beliefs or our biased approach towards life. That gives us a distortion. Like we don't see the truth behind things. We just want to accept things the way we want to see it. That's a vice within us that will prevent Bhagavati to originate or to come outside and to take form. So Dhumra Lochana means distorted vision. Then comes Mahisasura. Mahisasura is buffalo. Buffalo's innate nature is inertia. He is inert. So not doing something, like being okay. So there is a very famous book called Who Moved My Cheese, in which it talks about, getting comfortable. So getting in the comfort zone is what inertia is. And Mahishasura is the demon of inertia. He says that wherever you are, just sit there. This is not right. You need to keep progressing. You need to keep moving. So killing that Mahishasura or the demon of inertia is an important step in realizing your true self or having the Devi come out. Then comes Chandamunda, right? All these demons and the entire story is not about goddess fighting few demons and God's praising, but there is a deeper bhava which again reflects to a jiva to realize his true self. And everywhere, whichever philosophy I stumbled upon, right, stresses on the same point that a jiva is infinite and you can unlock this. And there are many, scriptures capturing the ways to unlock it. Some scriptures, as I said, are very direct, like like uh, like Brahma Sutra, directly talking, do this, do this, do this, be aware of this, be aware of this, be aware of this. Very difficult to grasp. Won't be able to comprehend. Some talking the same philosophy in a very lucid manner in a cryptic form. Some like Bhagwad Geeta, really a gem, talking the actual truth without story, but also making it easy for all of us to understand. But again, all these theories, while reading Shastra, my approach has always been like to understand the bhava behind what is said, not take things at the face value, but go deeper and ask why this attribute in the speaker. Why a specific attribute given to the speaker? Why, why Dhritarashtra was blind? Why he has 100 sons? Why there were 5 Pandavas? What can be the reason behind it? Why there was an old man called Bhishma Pitama? Why they fought against him? Does it mean a deeper philosophy that we are not able to foresee? So one very easy thing, again, I'm telling you guys, I'm jumping a little ahead by saying this. Uh, One thing which I see in the fight of Pandavas against Bhisma Pitama is a point which holds very much relevance in today's world. In today's world, and I think it held relevance even in later times as well. But as I live my life, right, I see many times our elders, they have a biased opinion about certain things because the society they lived in that society, those opinions were right. But since the time change, and given with the change in time, people need to upgrade themselves or enhance their perspective to be very relevant in dealing with the response to a situation or circumstance. You cannot, wield the same old sword to cut a new demon, which is in this era. The eras, the circumstance change, and many times, right, you need to go against, which is wrong. I know. Again, then comes dharma, and what exactly is dharma, where your dharma should lie. All these are like discretions that again Sri Hari said in his Bhagwad Gita. But the thing is, you need to sometimes go against the saying of your elders because you are more equipped with what is the scenario right now. Say, for example, your elders may say, like, going abroad and working is not a good thing to do because they might have some bad experiences around it. But given the change in time, you cannot like work from your hometown. You need to come out if you actually want to do this, and you know a goal which you can relate to, and maybe your dadima cannot relate to it. Maybe your pardadi cannot relate to it. Like, it's a very bad example. The real example can be in the time of actual conflict or dharma, where you will have to wage war against a Bhishma Pitama, maybe around you in your family. But the essence is like with change in time, people need to improve. People need to come on the side of dharma. If not on the side of dharma, like Bhishma Pitama, even though you are a Vasu yourself, like he is one of the 7 Vasus, Gangaputra. Even if you are a Vasu, you won't be right because the time demands you to upgrade or to be relevant to the changing time. So many such intricate philosophies are there. It's the bhav that I feel is very important to actually understand or comprehend Gita and any scripture as such. So yeah, I mean, we are approaching time. I thought maybe we will attempt a few slokas, but it's good we got to meet each other. Bhavna, what do you think? Swati, you both are joining today.
Yeah, Hina and Sonali, I missed last meeting, and if you can please introduce yourself, I want to like to know about.
Sure, I can go first. So, I am in Bangalore for last 6 years almost, you can say, and I basically started my professional career here only, and I'm tech lead. Again, software-based company, nothing new. But yeah, I do enjoy algorithms and all, and that's the key area, my key expertise. Not exactly expertise, but yeah, I have developed expertise in it, trying to develop more. So yeah, this is it. And coming to this concept of this shastra and all, so I have always been fascinated, maybe because of my early exposure. I used to read Ramayana, so I have read complete Ramayana twice without knowing anything. But still, even though I didn't understand, there was this positive vibe from it. I used to feel good. So we recite Hanuman Chalisa, but even if I listen to these things or Ramayan Chopai, there are this positive vibes which I feel. So if without understanding I'm feeling so much of positivity, and if I understand how much good it will be, and that excites me. And seeing, people are so much learned, that triggers you that, yeah, you have to learn more, and that is the best thing. So if you are inspired to learn more, I think this is it. I have achieved my objective. If I'm willing to learn more, that is the best thing. And if I feel that I know so less, so I feel energy goes from, I mean, for water to flow, it can go from high level to low level, right? So I need to feel that I know less, then I will be able to get it. So I'm happy, joining this, and looking forward to meeting you all in all the discussions. Yeah.
Great to know about you, Hina.
Yeah, hi Bhavna. I also coming
Hi,
to
hi.
me. Yeah, so I'm a software engineer at Accenture, Bangalore. And yeah, but for me, it's like work from home because currently I'm having only 1.5 years of Accenture, so I've never seen the corporate life, to be
Yeah, you
honest.
look pretty young.
Yeah. So and coming to this group, basically Ankit told me about this. So I'm very novice to all these things, to meditation, to Gita and all these things. But yeah, I have been like a little bit spiritual, like when it comes to God, and my family has been in this field as well. So yeah, basically over here to learn from all you people, because everyone is similar to me, and I'll get to know and get to learn lot of things from you guys. So yeah, need to explore on this field, but definitely will enjoy over it. Thank you.
Thanks, Nali. And the best thing, Ankit brought us together, and the best thing about this group that I found is all the techies getting interested in spirituality. That's amazing to know. Like Swati, Hina, Sonali, all, and Ankit himself. Generally, people have a perspective when you have nothing to do, you move to spirituality. But
uh,
it's a very good learning experience.
so Bhavna, there is this, void we feel in us, which we feel, that needs to be complete.
Yeah,
There's this, I mean, although we have stuff, but we find that something is missing, and to fill that missing part, we are here, I believe.
yes.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. Yep. Okay. So like quickly, a few questions. Not questions, but one thing that I gather uh, from one of the resources that I was reading, whenever you read Bhagavad Gita, right, it was beautifully said that be aware of two things. One was why you are reading it. Second was who said it. So it is said that
Second
it
was,
helps a
can you
lot.
repeat?
Second was who
Can you
said
repeat,
it.
Ankit?
Be aware
Who
who
said it?
said it. Who said it. So this essentially helps you to do two things. One, why you are doing it will keep you motivated in this path. You will tie the reason of studying Bhagavad Gita, and there are many reasons which is described in philosophies of Vedanta and again other Buddhism and Shaivism. These philosophies are, people come and people have this life which is full of sufferings of different kind. Buddhism has three tenets. One is, the world is nothing but suffering. Second tenet is there is an end to suffering. Third is there are ways by which you can reach there to the state of end of suffering. So these three are basically the tenets of Buddhist philosophy. Similarly, why you are reading Bhagavad Gita, the moment we are clear on the why, we will be very confident about understanding the meaning of the shlokas very well. Second is who is saying it. Many times, right, what happens, right, we don't want to take what is there in Bhagavad Gita and we have our own interpretation. Even I have. Say, for example, in one of the shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says that amongst all men, I'm Arjuna. Amongst all, snakes, I am Vasuki. Amongst all trees, amongst all cows, I am Kamdhenu. And I was like, Bro, why are you always the best? Why? Why can't you be the bad one as well? Because most of the people, right, they are not the best. Many of us, we are, we live normal life, and we can more relate to people who are from the normal background than who is already the best. So even I have reservation with many of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, and it becomes very difficult when you not see these statements with full perspective. So my point has got a perspective. I got a solution to my question. Like, we need to understand that it's Sri Hari himself, it's Bhagwanji himself who's saying this. And we need to just be patient, and we need to just be more, have more perspective in interpreting a particular shloka. It's like learning the thing directly from the God himself. Like हमें मौका मिला बुद्ध के पास बैठ के पूछने का अपने सवालों के जवाब, and we get the answer from him. It's exactly like that. So we need to be aware, like who is saying it, and just try to think more around why he might have said this, even though we are not able to comprehend it right that moment. In that moment, we may come up with questions like, hey, you know what, why are you always the best? Why can't you be normal? Why you can't be normal like me? You may have questions like this. Why exactly like this? Why exactly you say it this way? But there are perspectives. We just need to be patient. So two things will really help. One, why we are studying it. Second, who said it. So having these two questions and being very clear there will definitely help us. That's all I just wanted to share from my side. Mhm.
So, Ankit, can you recommend some text? Because, I don't have any text to refer to or to read. So, if I also start reading, then I'll also develop something, and I would like to contribute more. So, do you have any recommendations? Because I'm a complete beginner.
Okay, so there are a few websites which basically talk about, which basically have Bhagavad Gita online. One is this bhagwadgita.io. Second is
Mhm.
holybhagavadgita.org. I will share these links with you guys.
Sure.
So they have some
Yes.
commentaries by certain swamis. Uh, Even I'm not referring to any specific swami, because again, I
Okay.
don't want to be biased by the interpretation of a swami. Although that helps. That is for sure.
The Bhagavad Gita written or written in any of the languages, written by anybody, is their perspective. And
Okay.
every time you read Bhagavad Gita, you find many, many new things to learn about. So it will always be a perspective for sure, Ankit.
Hmm. Agreed. Bhavna, then can you suggest some books, because you have more experience of Bhagavad Gita, in the group. You, Ratu.
I can pass on the material, but I'm not sure if it's restricted or what. I got
Sure.
permission. I need to check on that. Otherwise, I try to some. I'll just pass on one of my recording or Bhagavad Gita, few of the adhyay, of one or two you can listen and just let me know if it is okay. Your feedback
Perfect.
will help.
For
And
sure.
try to send you across more PDFs also I have with me.
Definitely. That will be great. Thanks, Bhavna. Hina, we can pick up some basic books. There is one by ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. He is like Bhagavad Gita as it is, pretty famous. Let's start from there. I'm also thinking of starting from there. Then there is one book by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Again, his interpretation of Gita. That is also there. So even I'm thinking of picking it up. So these two books I have in my mind for now. There may be other, interpretations, but again, I want to approach it from a very fresh perspective, and let's see if that works out.
Also, Ankit, I have a question like how we are planning to move ahead. Like all the discussions, I think if we have a plan in place, like this is the part that we'll be discussing,
Agreed.
will make it more fruitful.
Definitely. So what I'm thinking right now is Bhavna, because it's again like my first time with Bhagavad Gita. So I haven't been through the select topics. So I basically want to orchestrate it a much better way to cater to our group. Like we all are like people who are techies, and we all understand a lot of things about life. So I want to cater to us and touch upon topics which will be more relevant to us. More like the chapters on Dhyana Yoga, more like the chapters which talks about
See,
Karma
all
Yoga.
the chapters, Ankit, if you take all the chapters, has a very relevance to our life. Actually, Bhagwad Gita is nothing, is the management of our lives only.
Agreed.
So, all the chapters are relevant, I think, Ankit. And as you already mentioned, that Ritu is the one, and many other people who would like to contribute uh, will be helpful. Like we can have somebody speaking one day, that
Perfect.
you or you can start with.
That is great. That is great. That will,
Going randomly from one topic to other.
agreed. Got it. So let's start from chapter one only, and let's aim for. So chapter one is more around. Oh, chapter one. Yeah, chapter one. Yeah. So chapter one is again like something that we can start with. So let's pick around 10 shlokas and see how in the course of time of 1 hour we are able to understand.
Or we can just have a discussion with the group, and we can pull in the and plan accordingly. For example, Swati and all, can just pull in their views.
Works fine. All good.
Sure, we can all pick up and come, irrespective how much we grasp.
Cool then. If you taken.
Yeah. Just one thing, I mean, I'm open to learning about all the topics, but one topic which will be of interest to me the most will be dilemmas. We all face dilemmas in our life, so the shlokas which cover that aspect.
You
Yeah,
So
know,
the first
Hira,
chapter. Yours is the first
not
chapter
only
only.
first chapter, all the chapters of Gita has a confusion
Yeah.
coming from the which is being addressed by.
okay, then it's the
So
perfect thing.
you see as yourself, as ourselves.
Okay, yeah, fine then. Yeah. Over to you,
Yep.
Ankit.
Uh, I'm also good. So taking Bhavna, let's circle the poll on the group, and we can plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep it every day of the weekend, or just once on the weekend?
I'm okay. We can just see what everybody else says.
Perfect. Cool. Fine. Great. Thank you, folks. Then
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Ankit, for organizing.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, all.
Bye.
Bye bye. Have a
bye.
good night.
Take care. Have a
Bye.
good night.
Good night.
Bye.